Well, I was born in Birmingham, Alabama. I stayed within the neighborhood, within the hood. I didn't get out of the neighborhood. My mother wouldn't let us go out because of things might happen with young men like that. We were wild and all that. And Birmingham at that particular time, you just couldn't do what you wanted to do at that time. So you were kind of relegated to certain areas of the city, and ours was on East Birmingham City. And I didn't know what was going on outside of that. I left Birmingham when I was 12 or 13 years old, came to Detroit. We came the year of the riot in the city of Detroit, and we were hesitant about coming here because the police was all over the place and all that. And, well, we had been used to seeing the police, and we knew how to act because we were in Alabama. When the police come around, you become very, very, very passive. We were told that up north, things like this didn't happen the way they happened down south. You were relegated to a particular neighborhood. You had boundaries you lived in. You couldn't go outside of those boundaries and do anything. There was sort of a curfew. If you found outside of those boundaries at certain times of night, you were picked up by the police and you were taken to what we call, not to jail, but they had what they call a juvenile home. They would keep you overnight, question you and go through all that. Then they would call your parent to come and get you. Or if they found something wrong, they would keep you there and send you to trial for something that 9 or 10 times you hadn't done anything. So we're really surprised that it was happening in Detroit. In fact, it was worse. We thought it was worse because they had a deal they called the Big Four, who would come through the neighborhood and harass young men for no reason at all, make them look bad, you know. And I can remember when we used to go to the movies, and the girl would go with you to the movies. The Big Four would come along, they would stop you, single you out, pull you over to the car, have the girl to stand on the sidewalk, abuse you verbally, make the girl go home while you stay there. So you missed the theater that Sunday, you know. Every Sunday, something like this was going to happen to you if you leave the neighborhood. My mother wouldn't allow us to go downtown to the theaters because she was afraid that things would happen to us that we couldn't control. Someone, I don't know how it happened, but in the neighborhood said that there's going to be a march. Someone had been picked up by the police for something they had not done. They were going to march in the neighborhood to see if we can bring some attention to this. I didn't know anything about civil rights. So me and Buddy said, hey, let's get in there. Let's go march too. Maybe we can get our picture in the paper, you know. So that's how we first got into the march. As we learned about what was going on in the march and everything and how to help organize it within the city there, we joined a program what we call the Deadly Dozens. And you know what the dozens are, right? Currently, the government called it now the sensitivity program. But we called it, and we would go to the gyms in the school, and they would have these performances. And if you could stand the dozen, you were allowed to go out and demonstrate. We had been to the gyms where we had a session with the Deadly Dozens, and we were trying to get people to take the training, go through all that. Dr. King was coming to town. And we don't want anybody out there fighting and going through all those chains. We wanted it to be a passive situation, nonviolent, everything, Dr. King here. There were a lot of things that I see people doing that I wanted to do. I was not allowed to do. There were laws against me doing certain things that other people took for granted. And I wanted those same things for me. The only way we could get those kind of things was to protest the inadequacies of the system today. So we tried to bring that moral force that the marches bring forward, you know. So bring the public opinion, that people see what's going on. A lot of people, white people, did not realize the condition under which black people were living. They just didn't know it. I met white people who had never seen some black people, right? But they've heard about them, and the opinion was formed. And that march changed a whole lot of that.